Furious Schrager. Let's run through some of this, starting with Brian Daboll. Where's he coaching next year?
Brian Daboll will be coaching with the Tennessee Titans, where he'll be the offensive coordinator for the Cam Ward, obviously, led team, but Robert Saleh is the head coach. Now, still interviewing for the head coaching job with the Raiders, so that's still a possibility. If Brady and co. want to go that way, he could then be that. But as of now, there has been an agreement with the Tennessee Titans. They put out a post and everything on social media.
Okay, so Brian Daboll has found a spot. We'll talk more about places he didn't go later. Next, can you explain to me what is going on with the New York Jets?
Curious stuff going on in New York. This is now 3 weeks after the end of the season. They fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks, in the days following season, but then yesterday announced that Tanner Engstrand, the first-year offensive coordinator, will be stepping away and will no longer be part of the offensive staff. This comes 3 weeks after the end of the season when several other teams with far more desirable positions at quarterback and elsewhere do not have offensive coordinators filled yet either. So, interesting decision.
And they fired like 7 assistant coaches on Friday, late in the day.
Yes.
Which the journalism student in me says is one of those news dump kind of things. I think a lot of the Jet fans just want to ask, we won't spend much time on this, I promise. So, is this as ridiculous as it sounds? It sounds ridiculous. Is it ridiculous? Well, the Jets waited a month till after the season ended, then fired all their coaches?
The timing is very curious, especially with no quarterback in place and some questions about the roster at hand, with Breece Hall obviously a question mark as well. What I will say is this. At the end of the season, Aaron Glenn told both coordinators, you are free to go pursue other offensive coordinator jobs. But January 27th, firing an offensive coordinator or a mutual parting of ways is very unorthodox, especially when you had all month to do this and start interviewing candidates.
Okay, so then let's move on to an NFL team. The Bills, what did they do?
Yeah, the Bills, the news there is pretty cut and dry. They had several interviews over the last few days, but they decided yesterday that Joe Brady will be the head coach. Joe Brady was the quarterback's coach and then the offensive coordinator and is now going to be the head coach after a rather short interview process and what was a fairly turbulent week in Buffalo after the press conference that we saw exactly 7 days ago today. Joe Brady gets the head job. He gets really bumped up in a promotion, and now he'll be the CEO of that team.
Okay, it's been a really strange couple of weeks for the Buffalo Bills. How would you describe the reaction that you were hearing?
Okay, within Buffalo, the skepticism is palpable. You just talked about, Peter, the short process. And the organization made it sound like we need a new voice for this team. Well, the voice that they think is the best for the new CEO is the guy that Josh Allen has been listening to since 2022. But I can tell you, within that building, they feel like we didn't just promote from within. We didn't approach this process as we're just going to take this guy. They feel like they went through an extensive process. It was really about finding a CEO, someone who could articulate a plan, a vision for how do you meld the coaching staff, the personnel staff, where everybody is locked in and on one accord. And also, let's be real, Josh Allen. That's the most important name in this whole situation. All the candidates we saw had either a past working relationship or a current relationship with him. So the Sean McDermott to Joe Brady transition does not happen unless Josh Allen is fully on board.
I'll clarify, too, because I reported last week here that Josh Allen was going to have a large voice. He was in the initial meetings for many of these coaches, including Joe Brady. He was in the interview. He wasn't in all of them, but I'm told from sources in Buffalo he did not have a final say in the winnowing down of these final candidates or the selection of Joe Brady. Joe Brady wowed them, to Kimberly's point. CEO qualities they were looking for, whether he was a part of the team or not, he was the one who won the job.
Jeff Saturday, reaction.
Yeah, let me just say this, starting because one thing that Kmart said that hit me wrong, and I'm not saying she, but I'm saying that it hit me wrong. When they say, the relationship that Joe Brady has and that, that he's going to tie all this stuff together and get everybody, they all bawled after they lost this game. To think that this team wasn't unified and that Sean McDermott didn't have all these guys fighting to the last fight, they were undermanned. Make sure that we understand, They and I said this week after week, right? Josh Allen has to play like Superman. He's got to do these things. But when you look at this team, they all fought like Josh Allen fought. He didn't play great the final game, right? He had turnovers and all those kinds of things. But every guy left it all out on the field. To act like they needed some new voice to galvanize them just sounds ludicrous to me. And it sounds like PR nonsense that ain't going to pass. Not while I'm sitting here.
Nate.
No, it feels like all the reasons that they've given us for the decisions that they've made up until now aren't consistent with the things that they're actually doing. Like, I think the honest answer is
Right.
given what I'm seeing, is they were concerned about losing Joe Brady. Like, that's what it feels like it comes down to, because if there was something about the staff that showed that you couldn't get over the hump, firing the head coach and promoting someone who also was a part of that staff doesn't seem like it's going to provide any different results. It sounds to me like either they were really uncomfortable with something McDermott was doing, but they're not telling us about, or they thought Joe Brady was going to get another job and they thought he was a better prospect for being a head coach. We'll find out whether they're right or wrong in the very near future. So, like,
right.
I hope Joe Brady is a great coach. I hope he has success. But you're going to look really silly if you promote two guys around the failures that you've had or the shortcomings that you've had, and then you go out and have them again. Like, they've just put so much more pressure on themselves, which is fine. It's part of the business. You're going to be under pressure. But the reasons that they're giving us seem to be disingenuous. Like, it's okay to think that your coordinator is going to be a great head coach and you don't want to lose him.
Well, I will say they feel like with Joe Brady, the offense wasn't the issue. They feel like defensively, when you look at the elimination games and their offense over the last couple of years, that has not been the issue. Don't shoot me. I'm just letting you know. But also with here's the thing. If you think Joe Brady could be a good head coach one day and you don't feel like this guy over here can get you over the hump, whether that's right or wrong, that's why they're making this promotion.
Well, look, I mean, it's not that difficult to figure out who they've blamed for this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There were people involved in this. Their season ended. They all cried together.
And they all come back.
The general manager got promoted.
Yes.
The offensive coordinator got promoted. The head coach got fired. So at the end of the day, scapegoat, call it whatever you want. There's no question where they pointed the finger of blame.
And I would just add to Dominique's point that the Baltimore Ravens were set to meet with Joe Brady to talk about their offensive coordinator job. And obviously there's other offensive coordinator jobs that are around. If they were to hire someone else, Joe Brady leaves the building and takes one of those other jobs. So in a lot of ways, this was, yes, he was the best man for the job, but also we don't want to lose him.
Jeff, really quick final word. Go.
Yeah, I was just saying, and that's fair. My issue isn't with Joe Brady. I like Joe Brady as a coach. I hope and wish him the best, right? He's going to have to go hire an offensive coordinator that's going to help install, because he's going to have all kinds of new things on his plate that he hasn't had before. He's got to figure out who his DC is, because the Kmart's problem, if it is the defense, well, let's fix it. Let's go find somebody else. There's a lot for Joe Brady to do. Let me tell you the first job they're going to do. Go get receivers and go bolster your defense, which should have been done while McDermott was on the job. That will not happen, but Bean will make sure that is a point of emphasis coming in. Make no mistake, we'll watch it play out. That's going to happen.
Yes, Terry Pagula has a lot of explanations for it. That didn't work out so well. As we continue, coming up, a Steel City stunner.